hope you're all enjoying the new year so far. I wanted to let everybody know that this week there will not be a support local or a support small business interview going on my IGTV or on my YouTube channel. However, I do have an interview with mortgage broker extraordinaire Sean Humphries, who has graciously taken some time out of his schedule to talk to me about where mortgages are going, where they are right now, and what the Bank of Canada is doing. As well, we talk about a little bit of Maple Leafs and hoping for a Stanley Cup parade, as well as a little bit of real estate. So I hope you guys tune in, check out the interview, and I look forward to catching up with all of you soon.
Hey, Sean, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know that never time to sleep with the mortgages the way that they are.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, George. Good to chat with you again. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you too. It's always my pleasure to have you. It's great to talk to you. We don't do it enough. We usually see each other quite often at the office, but we haven't been at the office in quite some time.
Exactly. So 2021 New Year's resolution, more Sean and George conversations.
Yeah, I think we should definitely do that at least once a month.
Yeah. Hey, I saw that the TREB numbers came out, and TREB had the third busiest year ever.
Yeah.
Despite the pandemic.
Yeah, it was.
What's going on with that?
Quite exciting, actually. So we had 95,000 and change, 95,151, I believe is the exact number, in transactions for 2020, which is huge. I mean, the only other years that we had that were better than that were 2015 and 2016, right before the Liberal government implemented the Fair Housing Market Initiative. So that's pretty big.
Yeah, well, that was a huge run up too, right? Like those 2016, 2017,
we were talking over 100,000 transactions a year.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if the whole year was like it was at the end of the year, we would have been up near those numbers, I bet.
But it's funny that you say that, because when we were estimating what our year was going to be, talking January and February, we were actually anticipating close to 100,000, 105,000 deals based on the months that we were seeing there. And then COVID hit in March and everything kind of came to a standstill. The spring market just basically rolled right on through without much progress. I mean, record lows we're talking for March and April and May. Not so much March. March we had the first half, but April and May were like record lows almost. And then we just started seeing things start picking up through the summer and the early fall, right through into the winter, and finishing off with one of the strongest Decembers ever, if not the strongest December ever.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was a record all around in December.
Yeah.
So George, I just did my 7 real estate predictions for Toronto market this year, and I predicted that we're going to have a normal real estate market in 2021. So slow in the winter, busy in the spring, slow in the summer, and then busy in the fall. Tell me how right I am, George.
Well, there's nothing more that I would like to say than you are absolutely right. It's a little bit difficult to make that kind of prediction right now. If we hadn't had state of emergency declared today, starting on Thursday, I would probably say 100% you are right, because we had that great momentum coming in from last year, ending the year strong, November, December, great months coming into January, which is also started to be pretty good. Even though we're only a week and a half into January, we already see quite a few transactions happening. So from that standpoint, I want to say yes, 100%. We are going to have
100%. I'm right.
100%. That's what I want to say. That's what I want to say. But again, because of this state of emergency, we're probably going to see a lot of things come to a slowdown, just like we did last year. Hopefully not too much, but it will probably affect the real estate market, because we do want everybody to stay at home, kind of try and flatten that curve as much as possible, like we did last year. I mean, the lockdowns really haven't helped too much in terms of numbers. They've just been going up and up. But that's kind of where I stand right now.
You're not willing
in terms of
to say.
Yeah, I'm not willing to say because
Yeah.
it's one of those things that you can't really predict at this point in time.
Yeah. Well, I did. I did make a prediction. We'll see what happens. If next year I'm way off, we'll just pretend I didn't make any predictions.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You can just do that. Just go back to your Instagram, delete any videos where you made a prediction, and nobody will be the wiser. That's exactly
no
it.
problem, right?
But I do definitely see that it will be another good year. Is it going to be a normal year? Maybe once the vaccinations start getting more into mass population, we might start seeing things pick up and become a little bit more normal. And hey, you never know if things happen the way that they happened in 2020. We may even see another record year.
Okay. So over, what was the record, like 115,000? Are you saying that? Or are you
100
saying like over 100 is a possibility?
I'm saying that over 100 is definitely a possibility, provided the vaccines start getting implemented. We start allowing travel back into the country. We start allowing immigration to come flowing back into Toronto. And because at this point, we haven't had a lot of immigration coming in, which has affected our population a little bit.
Yeah.
So that there in itself is going to hurt the number of real estate transactions.
Yeah. As you say it, it sounds like a tall order for all those things to happen, and we'll have a great year. But I'm going to stick by my normal prediction. Slow in the winter. Yeah, we're on, maybe it's really slow, but then we'll have a great spring.
Maybe you'll be my oracle, Sean. If you predict what you're predicting and it comes true, I'm calling you as my oracle from here on out.
I'm also predicting a Stanley Cup parade in Toronto for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
There are a lot of people that will definitely want to see that happen. I can't say that I'm not one of them. I would definitely love to see it. I haven't seen it in my lifetime. You haven't seen it in your lifetime. Nope. I'd love to see it. We saw the Raptors.
There we go.
But the Leafs, it's something completely different. They're a different beast altogether, Sean.
Yeah.
But so with real estate and the numbers the way that they are, I know a lot of that has really helped with the mortgage market the way that it is. I mean, Bank of Canada still has record low numbers there, I hear.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a couple of rates. So if you look at kind of the one that gets advertised the most or gets the most market attention is the bank's overnight lending rate, which then the Bank of Canada's overnight lending rate, which is their policy rate, which they then use to determine what the prime rates are at the banks. And so that is determined what if your variable rate goes up or down. And so if you've got a variable rate, you're certainly interested that the Bank of Canada is meeting next week. And there is a possibility, and they basically called it that the interest rates, their interest rate is not going to be going up for the remainder of 2021. And they've never called that shot before. They've never come out and said, even beyond, reading the tea leaves, what could happen. They've said the interest rate will not go up in 2021. And the last meeting, they said, well, we might be interested. We might be okay with actually decreasing it some more. And there's not, but they're not going.
Sorry, Sean. I don't mean to cut you off there, but like, what do you mean decreasing it even more? Like, I was under the impression that where they are right now is the absolute lowest that they could possibly be. It's a 0.25%.
It's 0.25% right now. Now there are some countries that are at zero or negative territory in the world.
Really?
So yeah, so
that's
it
crazy.
is possible to go lower than this, but the Bank of Canada has said they will not go to negative interest rates, which would be zero. So they are open to a cut, what they're calling a micro cut. So 0.1, 0.15. It is possible to see that decrease. And the reason being is that some of the economy numbers are not so good. We were having a recovery, but then December was the first negative jobs numbers report that came out since April. So we actually decreased the number of jobs in Canada. in December. And, spoiler alert, we're going into another lockdown and a state of emergency. We're probably going to have negative job numbers again in January. So I can see the Bank of Canada wanting to get ahead of that. They were proactive with their cuts earlier in the pandemic, and they really did do it. I can also see them holding on a little bit longer. So, I'm going to say that they're probably going to make a cut next week, but it'll be a small one, maybe 0.1%, to try to put a little bit more juice into the economy.
Okay, I can definitely appreciate that. I mean, they want to try and give the economy a boost as much as possible, especially with a lockdown. We want to try and keep everything moving.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what does that mean to the average home buyer? What does that mean to somebody that's looking to buy a house in terms of their money in their pocket?
Yeah. So variable rates are looking really good right now. So that is continuing to decrease. The fixed rates are actually also related to those job numbers and how the economy is doing. Because if the economy is decreasing, the fixed rates go down as well. So if the fixed rates are coming down, I don't know, it's not any news that they've been decreasing for about a year and a half, if not longer. An interest rate on, a year or more ago was roughly 3%. Now everything's under 2% now.
Right.
It's the difference
of insane.
Yeah, on a $500,000 mortgage, that's roughly $600 per month in interest. So your payment is already $600 less. That's real money. That's real money.
So you're saving $600 a month on a $500,000 mortgage just based on a 2% mortgage instead of a 3% mortgage.
Yeah, and that's if you were to get a fixed rate mortgage today versus what it was,
So what you're telling me is money is cheap to borrow right now.
Super cheap. Like it's never been lower, and it sounds like it could go even lower than this.
It's almost cheaper than robbing a bank.
Probably is a little less risky too, I would say.
That's definitely a little less risky. I mean, there's no prison sentence involved, right? Like,
not that I'm aware of.
But it's almost as cheap.
Yeah, almost as cheap. Exactly.
But I mean, yeah, don't get caught.
No, that's the problem, right?
No, that's you know what? This now is the time to get a mortgage and look at the real estate market, because I mean, especially if you're like a first time home buyer, we actually just had a huge amount of condos go on the market at the end of December and beginning of January. So the condo market is actually quite high in terms of number of properties on there, and the price has actually dropped a little bit over December of last year. So if you're a first-time home buyer looking for a condo, which is basically where the $500,000-$600,000 price point puts you in Toronto, it's a great time to get in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the Black Friday of condos, but at the end of November there, like we had a whole bunch of condos come onto the market, and
all the old inventory must go.
Yeah, it was apparently like the price in February for condos, February 2020 was $660, and by December it was $600,000. So they were on sale.
Yes, they definitely were. I mean, we closed out the month at just over $600,840, which was down about 2%. So I mean, it's amazing. It's definitely amazing, but it's one of those things. Money is cheap to borrow right now. If you want to buy a condo, you want to get into the market, condos are an easy way to do it. Borrow some money and get in.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great investment right now. Like if you got some money and you've got a good job where, you're not in danger of losing it, and there's tons of jobs that are not in danger, this would be a good time to get in on that.
Absolutely. So I know that you don't like to talk about specific numbers and mortgage rates. Mm-hmm. So we won't do that, but what is the absolute lowest rate that somebody could get? Like the absolute best client that you've ever seen in your absolute life comes in with all their paperwork done up and they're like, Sean, get me the mortgage that I want right now. What's the best rate that you can get me?
You know what? It's actually the best person and the the okay guy can probably get the same interest rate. It's not about, oh, is my credit better, or do I have more assets? It's not about that, to be honest. If the best interest rate right now, HSBC is offering, or at least they were,
Which,
well, I'm not sure how much longer they'll offer it for, so I hesitate on saying much about it, but they're at 0.99%. And on a variable mortgage. Now you have to have
under 1%.
under 1%. So it's 0.99% for a variable mortgage.
So I was just making sure that you didn't say 1.99 and I missed the one. That's
0.
under 1.99%.
Yeah,
That's
0.99.
insane. That is literally almost free money. Like,
yeah, more or less, right?
And I know that Dominion Lending is one of the only brokerages that deals with HSBC. Is that
That's
true?
right. Yeah, we're one of 5 brokerages to be offering that. So
That's insane.
we're very lucky to have access to it. Now there is a variety of ways that you're not going to qualify for that rate. It's if you have more than 20% down, you're not going to qualify for that. It's an
more than 20%, really?
So it's an insured mortgage. So you have to have between, I guess, 5 and 19.99% down payment. You have to pay for the insurance. So that is
what if you had 20% down, but you just chose to put 19.5% down?
Well, it probably still doesn't make sense, because your interest rate's going to be a little bit higher, but you're going to save yourself, $15,000 in insurance. So the amount of time it would take you to pay that off, you might as well just pay the extra few dollars.
And that accrued interest gets you every time.
Exactly. Because you're paying interest then on $15,000 more than you would have otherwise.
Right. Now that makes sense.
Yeah,
so, I mean, it's that's insane. 0.99%. I can't get over it.
I know.
I can't get over it.
I don't think I would ever have seen that, considering like we were bordering on high 3s, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's where we were. And now we're, under 1. And I mean, it's a, hey, look at me rate. And like, not everyone qualifies, and it's like shrouded in that.
But it's there.
It's a good lender.
But it's there. Like,
people do qualify. It is a legitimate bank. There's lots of good things about it.
HSBC. That's a very legitimate bank.
HSBC is a legitimate bank, right? So they're one of our new partners that we have. So people do qualify for it. But it's not something to me. I don't think it's going to last forever, but who knows?
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed it lasts forever, Sean.
Yeah, it'll last forever.
Let it last forever.
Yeah, we're gonna love you forever.
No, obviously, anything that good has to come to an end at some point in time. But I mean, if there's even a chance that you can qualify for this mortgage, I think it's definitely go out there and try and get it.
Yeah, if you can get it,
give Sean a call and try and get that mortgage. Like, Sean, get me that mortgage right now. Let's go.
Of course. I mean, it's only for purchases as well, so that's another thing to keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, the motto of the story is like interest rates are low, and it's a great time if you are kind of thinking, well, I don't know if I can afford it. It's worth a conversation, because there's never been a better time to borrow money. And so if it's the right time to make that move, then that shouldn't be what's holding you up.
That's absolutely true. Because I mean, we just spent half of this conversation talking about how cheap it is to borrow money right now.
That's right.
So if somebody wants to at least think about getting into the real estate market, somebody needs to have a serious conversation.
That's right.
And, look into these things, because again, they're not going to be around forever.
That's true.
All right.
Well, George,
is there anything else exciting going on?
No, I think that's it. That's good. Let's save some of it for our next conversation.
Sounds good. That sounds good to me. We can save some for the next conversation. Yeah, I'm definitely excited about that.
Well, looking forward to it then. Well, let's get together. Maybe we'll do this again next month.
Absolutely. We should probably make this a monthly thing. Keep people informed.
That's right.
On what's going on.
Sounds great.
I think the people deserve to know.
People
they deserve to know what's going on with their mortgages, with the money, with the banks.
That's right. All right, George, good to talk to you. We'll talk to you soon.
Sean, it was my pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great night.